The slip space rupture tore reality apart with surgical precision. One moment, Master Chief Petty Officer John 117 was executing a standard orbital insertion over a Covenant-held world. The next, his HUD screamed warnings as physics itself twisted wrong. The MJOLNR armor's shields flared white-hot as dimensional barriers shattered around him. Then he was falling. Not through vacuum, through atmosphere, through clouds that shouldn't exist over the coordinates Cortana had locked. His AI companion's voice crackled with static before cutting out entirely. Another impossibility. Spartans didn't fail. Their technology didn't fail. But the armor's sensors painted an impossible picture. Earth, not glassed, not under Covenant siege, intact, thriving, covered in city lights that stretched to every horizon. Chief adjusted mid-fall, years of combat drops overriding confusion. Trajectory calculations ran automatically. Impact in 40 seconds. He'd survived worse. The armor crashed through the roof of a Manhattan apartment building at terminal velocity, punching through 3 floors before the ground floor's reinforced concrete finally arrested his momentum. The impact crater spiderwebbed outward. Car alarms shrieked. People screamed. Chief rose from the rubble, armor scarred but shields already regenerating. His motion tracker painted dozens of heat signatures fleeing in panic. No weapons signatures, no hostile contacts. Civilians. The realization locked his finger away from the MA-5C assault rifle's trigger. Cortana, status report. Silence. His HUD flickered, struggling with interference that shouldn't exist. External audio pickups caught fragments. The fuck was that? Call Vought. Where's Homelander when you need him? Vought? Homelander? Unknown designations. Chief's tactical assessment shifted to intelligence gathering. He stepped from the crater into chaos, not from his arrival, but from something else entirely. 2 blocks north, a building burned, and floating above it, cape rippling and thermals from the flames, a figure in blue and red smiled for hovering cameras while people screamed from windows. The Spartan had seen war. He'd fought aliens that wanted humanity extinct, but he'd never seen someone smile while people burned. His mission parameters had just changed. Chief moved through the panicking crowd like a ghost, 7 feet of armored super soldier that somehow avoided drawing attention because everyone was watching the sky. The man in the cape, Homelander, the crowd whispered with religious reverence, was addressing news helicopters while the building behind him vomited black smoke. Had the situation completely under control, Homelander was saying, that smile never wavering. Though unfortunately, the terrorists inside chose to... An explosion tore through the building's 7th floor, not from any device Chief's sensors could detect, from the inside. And the way Homelander's eyes glowed red for just a microsecond before the blast. Chief's threat assessment algorithms painted the floating man crimson, hostile, high-value target. But his tactical sense, honed through decades of combat, recognized something worse than an enemy, a false flag. The building had been residential. The terrorists Homelander mentioned were nowhere in his armor's sensor sweep. Only terrified civilians, now trapped above an inferno that hadn't existed before Homelander's arrival. The Spartan had followed orders his entire life, served without question, but every Spartan was taught one inviolable rule: protect humanity. Not governments, not command structure, humanity. Chief's armor clanked as he shifted, calculating firing solutions. The BR-55 rifle mag-locked to his back could punch through the target's skull from here. Center mass, headshot. The flying man would drop before his brain registered the "Fucking hell, mate, you actually considering it?" The voice came from his 6 o'clock, British, amused. "Because if you are, I like you already, but trust me, you'll just piss him off." Chief spun, rifle clearing its magnetic holster in a blur. The man who'd somehow approached undetected stood 5 meters back, hands raised in mock surrender. Bearded, long coat, eyes that had seen too much and enjoyed most of it. "Billy Butcher," the man introduced himself, grinning at the weapon aimed at his face. "And you massive tin can, are either the best fucking thing to happen to this city, or you're about to be Vort's newest product." His grin widened. "Let's find out which, yeah?" Butcher led Chief through maintenance tunnels beneath the city, talking non-stop in a way that would have gotten him killed in the UNSC. But the Spartan listened, cataloging information with the same precision he'd once used for Covenant intelligence. Vought International, the Seven, Compound V, an entire superhero industry built on lies, drugs, and corporate profit. Heroes who caused more collateral damage than they prevented. A flying psychopath who could laser people in half and smile for cameras 5 minutes later. "Homeland is the worst of them," Butcher explained, descending a rusted ladder. "Strongest, fastest, damn near invulnerable. Also a right proper cunt who'll burn a building full of people just to boost his approval ratings." He glanced up at Chief's impassive visor. "That thing you saw? Tuesday for him." Chief's HUD was slowly compensating for whatever interference had knocked Cortana offline. System diagnostics ran green across the board. MJONIR-LNIR Mark 6 armor, fully functional. Energy shields, 100%. Weapons, loaded and ready. But Cortana's neural link remained dead static. He was alone in a world that made no sense. They emerged in a basement that smelled of mold and cheap beer. 3 figures waited. A wiry man who flinched at Chief's entrance, a woman whose eyes promised murder, and someone who looked barely old enough to recruit. "Bloody hell," the wiry one, Frenchie, whispered. "What is that?" "That," Butcher announced proudly, "is our new best mate, or Vort's newest lab rat. 50-50 odds." He turned to Chief. "So here's the pitch, Spartan. Yeah, I heard you mutter in military designations. We're the boys. We kill Supes who step out of line. And trust me, they all step out of line." "You're vigilantes," Chief stated. "Not a question. We prefer necessary evil." Butcher pulled out a tablet showing footage, the Seven causing civilian casualties, cover-ups, corporate manipulation, Compound V experiments on infants. "Vort's already got security footage of your grand entrance. They'll be coming. Offer you money, power, your own action figure. Try to turn you into one of them." He met Chief's visor with hard eyes. "Or you could help us burn it all down." The woman, Kimiko, Butcher had called her, watched Chief with the wariness of someone who'd fought for survival. The young one, Huey, looked terrified. Frenchie was already sketching armor schematics with disturbing accuracy. Chief had spent his life following orders, UNSC, ONI, Command, but he'd also spent his life protecting humanity. And if these heroes were the threat... "I need more intelligence," Chief said finally. "Full briefing, enemy capabilities, Vaught's security infrastructure, Compound V manufacturing locations." His helmet turned toward each of them. "Then I'll decide." Butcher's grin could have cut glass. "Oh, you'll fit right in." The briefing lasted 6 hours. Chief absorbed it all with mechanical efficiency. Vaught's corporate structure, the Seven's individual capabilities, Compound V's mutagenic properties, decades of covered-up atrocities. Frenchie provided technical data on Supe physiology, enhanced durability, regeneration factors, unique powers derived from genetic lottery and dosage variations. It was Huey who showed him the footage that changed everything. "This was Robin," the young man said quietly, pulling up phone video. A woman laughing, alive, happy, then a blur,
a Supe called A-Train running through her at supersonic speed, reducing her to red mist and scattered viscera while he didn't even slow down. Accident. Huey spat the word like poison. That's what Vought called it. Gave me 45 grand and a non-disclosure agreement. His hands shook. She was everything, and he ran through her, grabbing his fucking girlfriend from a crime scene. Chief had seen soldiers die, dozens, hundreds, but they died fighting, died with purpose. This woman had died because a hero couldn't be bothered to watch where he ran. Collateral damage, acceptable losses. Chief knew those terms intimately, but there was nothing acceptable about this. Vaught's already moving. the fourth member, a careful man with engineer's eyes, pulled up surveillance feeds. Security contractors, advanced tech, probably sniffing for your energy signature. They want you, Chief. New product line, military-grade hero. The profit margins would be insane. Let 'em come, Chief said simply. Butcher laughed. Ha, I like you. But here's the thing, mate. They won't come themselves. They'll send the 7. Homelander, Maeve, the whole bloody lot. And yeah, you're impressive, but Homelander survived nuclear weapons in testing. Has he been shot in the head? Chief asked. The room went quiet. Because in my experience, Chief continued, checking his BR-55's ammunition counter, there's no such thing as invulnerable, just inadequately tested. He looked at each of them. You want Vought burned down. I want to understand why humanity's protectors are its predators. Our objectives align. Just like that? Huey asked. You're joining us? No. Chief's voice carried absolute certainty. I'm using you, your intelligence network, your knowledge of this world. In return, I'll handle threats you can't. His helmet turned to Butcher, starting with Homelander. Butcher's grin returned, feral and delighted. Fucking magnificent. But first, we need to see what you can actually do. Because Homelander, he's not just strong, he's a god complex with laser eyes and daddy issues. You sure that fancy armor's enough? Chief's shields hummed to life, energy crackling across the Mjolnir plating. Let's find out. Homelander found him first. Chief had known he would. The Spartan had positioned himself on a rooftop in lower Manhattan, exposed, visible, broadcasting every electronic signature the Mjolnir armor generated. Bait, the oldest tactic in warfare. It took 3 hours. The sonic boom arrived before the visual, Homelander breaking the sound barrier with casual disregard for the windows shattering below. He landed 20 meters away, cape settling perfectly around his shoulders like he'd rehearsed it. Probably had. So, Homelander said, smile bright and empty, you're the new guy everyone's talking about. Gotta say, the armor's a bit much, very Halo fan film. He laughed at his own joke. I'm Homelander, America's greatest hero, and you are? Chief's threat assessment painted him crimson. Every sensor screamed danger, but the Spartan had faced worse, the Didact, Atriox, entire Covenant fleets. This was just another target. Master Chief Petty Officer John 117. Military, I like it. Homelander's smile never wavered, but his eyes, there was something wrong with his eyes. Empty, like looking at a tiger in human skin. Vought wants to meet you. Very generous offer. 7 figures, endorsement deals, your own energy drink. Spartan fuel has a nice ring. Not interested. The smile flickered, just for a second. See, that's not really how this works. Vought owns the superhero business. You want to play hero in my city? You go through proper channels, through me. Chief's hand hadn't moved toward his weapon. Didn't need to. The BR-55 was already tracking, targeting reticle locked on Homelander's skull. Your city, the one where you let buildings burn for photo opportunities. Homelander's eyes flared red, not metaphorically, literally glowing crimson, heat shimmer visible in the air. Careful, you don't know what I can do. Heat vision, approximately 5,000 degrees Celsius based on structural damage analysis. Flight capability, Mach 2 plus. Enhanced strength, estimated 400-ton lift capacity. Heightened senses. Chief's voice remained flat. I've killed worse. The smile vanished entirely. Have you now? Then Homelander moved, faster than Chief's motion tracker could paint. The Spartans' shields flared as something crashed into them like a tactical Mac round. His HUD screamed warnings, kinetic impact, catastrophic, shields at 23%. Chief flew backward through a rooftop water tower, through the structure beyond, cratering into an office space 3 buildings away. Alarms shrieked, people screamed and fled. He rose from the wreckage, shields recharging, armor scarred but intact. Homelander floated outside the shattered wall, backlit by afternoon sun, looking genuinely surprised. "Huh, you actually survived that." The smile returned, but different now, eager, hungry. This might actually be fun. Chief raised his rifle and fired. The 3-round burst caught Homelander's center mass. The Supe didn't even flinch. The round sparked off his suit, flattened, clattered to the floor. Useless. "My turn," Homelander said. The heat vision carved through the building like a lightsaber through flesh.
Chief threw himself sideways as superheated beams vaporized concrete where he'd stood. His shields took a glancing hit, down to 15%. But the MJONLR's mobility servos gave him speed no normal human possessed. He sprinted through the disintegrating building, calculating, adapting. Conventional weapons? Ineffective. Compound V had made Homelander essentially bulletproof. But Chief had faced energy shields before. Everything had a threshold. He grabbed a support beam, 3 tons of steel, ripped it free with augmented strength, and hurled it like a javelin. Homelander caught it mid-flight, laughed, bent it into a pretzel. "Really? That's—" Chief's frag grenade detonated in Homelander's face. The explosion did nothing, but the flashbang embedded in the frag's casing, military grade, designed to disorient Spartan visuals, made Homelander stumble back, blinking, actually affected for 2 precious seconds. Chief used them to run. Not retreat, tactical repositioning. He crashed through 3 offices, motion tracker painting Homelander recovering, launching after him with barely contained rage. The Spartan had learned something crucial. Homelander could be disoriented, could be surprised, could be hurt, maybe, with the right ordnance. But not here, not surrounded by civilians. Chief burst onto another rooftop and activated his comm. "Butcher, need that location, now." "Already sent," Butcher's voice crackled. "Abandoned Vought facility, Jersey docks. Big enough to cut loose, empty enough you won't kill bystanders. Though honestly, wait, might want to reconsider this." Homelander's heat vision carved the rooftop in half. Chief jumped, shields taking another hit as he fell 6 stories, hit a fire escape, rode it down in a screech of tearing metal. His HUD painted the route. 2.3 kilometers to the facility. He could make it in 4 minutes at full sprint. He'd covered 20 meters when Homelander landed in front of him, cape whipping dramatically despite no wind. "Done running?" The Supes' smile was gone entirely now, replaced by something cold and eager. "Good, because I really, really want to see what you look like without that armor." "You'll have to earn it," Chief said. Then he fired the entire MA5C magazine into Homelander's face. 60 rounds in 2.4 seconds. Every single one sparked harmlessly off Supe-enhanced skin. But the muzzle flash, the noise, the sheer audacity, Homelander's expression shifted from predatory to genuinely angry. "You annoying little—" Chief's armor-enhanced punch caught him in the jaw.
For the first time, Homelander's head actually snapped to the side. Not from damage, the Spartan's knuckles screamed impact warnings, shields flickering, but from sheer kinetic force. A Spartan 2 at full strength, MJONLR enhanced, could flip a warthog, could punch through Covenant battle plate. Homelander touched his jaw, looked at his fingers like expecting blood, found none, looked back at Chief, and smiled like a child who just found a new toy to break.
The fight carved a path of destruction through lower Manhattan. Homelander was faster, stronger, could fly, but Chief had something the Supe didn't: 3 decades of combat experience against superior enemies. Every engagement the Spartan took was calculated: fire to draw attention, grenade to disorient, reposition before heat vision could lock, use the environment, exploding transformer, redirect Homelander into it, construction crane, collapse it on top of him. It bought seconds, nothing more, but seconds were enough. Chief's comm crackled. "Satellite shows Vought security mobilizing," MM's voice cut through. "National Guard's been called. You've got maybe 10 minutes before this becomes an international incident." "The facility," Chief grunted, dodging another heat vision blast that vaporized a parked car. "Butcher, is it ready?" "Define ready." Butcher sounded too calm. "We've got some toys Frenchie liberated from a military contractor. Might slow Homelander down, might just piss him off worse." "Good enough." Chief sprinted for the docks, Homelander in pursuit, the Supe's rage overriding his usual calculated PR persona. This was personal now. Chief had made it personal. The one thing Homelander couldn't tolerate was being challenged. The abandoned Vought facility rose ahead, a concrete monstrosity marked with biohazard symbols and decades of neglect. Chief crashed through the main entrance, motion tracker painting Homelander 3 seconds behind. The interior was a maze of testing chambers and containment cells. Evidence of old Compound V experiments lined the walls, cages sized for children, restraint chairs, observation windows. The boys had chosen the location deliberately, remind Homelander where he came from. "You can't hide from me," Homelander's voice echoed through the facility. "I can hear your heartbeat, smell your fear. You're just a man in a fancy suit, and I'm a god." Chief said nothing, moved silently through corridors his motion tracker had already mapped, placed charges, set traps, waited. When Homelander rounded the corner, Chief triggered the first surprise, a claymore mine loaded with experimental armor-piercing flechettes Frenchie had designed specifically for Supe physiology. The blast caught Homelander full on. For the first time, the Supe actually staggered, suit scorched, skin showing red marks that faded even as Chief watched. Not penetration, but impact, pain. "That actually stung," Homelander said, wonder in his voice. Then the wonder became rage. "You made me bleed." He hadn't, but Chief didn't correct him, let the Supe believe. Angry opponents made mistakes. Homelander's heat vision carved through the facility's support structure. Concrete exploded, steel melted, the building began collapsing around them, and Chief ran, Homelander's screaming pursuit turning the facility into a death trap. "Butcher," Chief transmitted. "Backup plan, now." "You're not gonna like it," Butcher replied. "Execute." The facility's emergency system activated, industrial fire suppression designed for chemical fires, but Frenchie had modified it. Instead of water or foam, it dumped liquid nitrogen at -196 degrees Celsius. Homelander's scream was a genuine surprise as flash-freezing fog filled every corridor. The liquid nitrogen wouldn't kill Homelander. His Compound V enhanced metabolism could survive it. But it slowed him, made him sluggish, gave Chief the opening he needed. The Spartan emerged from the freezing fog, armor systems compensating for temperature extremes, and drove his combat knife into Homelander's eye. The blade snapped, didn't even scratch the cornea, but the attempt, the audacity of a human trying to blind a god, made Homelander's rage transcend rationality.
He grabbed Chief by the throat, lifted him like a toy, slammed him through 3 concrete walls. Shields failed, armor integrity warnings screamed. Chief felt ribs crack even through the gel layer, his enhanced physiology the only thing preventing liquefaction. "I could kill you," Homelander hissed, face inches from Chief's visor, frost still clinging to his costume. "Crush your skull, burn you from the inside, make you beg." Chief headbutted him. Mjolnir helmet against Supes forehead. Homelander's head snapped back, again not from damage, from sheer disrespect. No one had dared in so long. The Supes' heat vision fired point blank. Chief's shields were down, the beams carved into his armor, through the outer titanium layer, into the gel beneath. Pain exploded through his shoulder as superheated metal touched flesh. But Chief had been burned before, shot, stabbed, spaced. Pain was data, and the data said Homelander was focused entirely on him, wasn't watching his 6. "Now," Chief transmitted. Kimiko hit Homelander from behind like a freight train. The female Supe, silent, feral, powered by her own Compound V variant, had been waiting in the facility's shadows. Her enhanced strength wasn't Homelander level, but it was enough to make him stumble, release Chief, spin with eyes blazing. "You brought friends?" Homelander's laugh was unhinged. "You think she can—" Frenchie's anti-material rifle fired from 300 meters out. The round, depleted uranium, armor-piercing, moving at 900 meters per second, caught Homelander in the chest. Still didn't penetrate, but the kinetic impact, combined with Kimiko's assault and Chief recovering his feet, created something Homelander had never experienced: coordinated opposition. MM's voice crackled through Chief's damaged comm. "Vought sending the 7. Knave, Black Noir, A-Train, ATA 2 minutes. You need to disengage." Chief assessed. Armor compromised, shields recharging slowly, ammunition depleted, shoulder burned. Homelander, enraged but undamaged, faster than Chief could track, strong enough to pulp him with effort. Tactical conclusion? Withdrawal. Strategic conclusion, victory. Because Homelander was bleeding, not physically, his skin remained perfect, but psychologically. Someone had challenged him, hurt him even slightly, made him look vulnerable, and in Vought's world of public perception and corporate image, that was a wound that wouldn't heal. "This isn't over," Chief said, backing toward the extraction point Butcher had positioned. Homelander floated forward, heat vision warming. "You're goddamn right it isn't. I'm going to find you, peel that armor off piece by piece, show the world what happens when someone challenges." Chief's last frag grenade detonated between them, smoke and debris. When it cleared, the Spartan was gone. Homelander stood alone in the ruined facility, cape settling around him, breathing hard, fury absolute. For the first time in years, he'd felt something other than boredom.
The safe house was a condemned building in Brooklyn, 3 layers of Frenchie's electronic countermeasures keeping it off Vought's grid. Chief sat on a reinforced chair. The others had collapsed under the armor's weight, while MM extracted shrapnel from his shoulder and Frenchie repaired the breached chest plate. "You're insane," Huey said, watching footage of the fight on every news channel. "Completely insane. Homelander's going to hunt you forever." "Good," Butcher said, grinning like a maniac. "Homelander angry is Homelander sloppy. Did you see his face? Proper rattled he was." He turned to Chief. "You actually hurt him. Not physically, but mentally. That's worse for a narcissist." Chief's HUD flickered, Cortana's neural interface attempting reconnection, failing, trying again. The isolation was unfamiliar, wrong, but he'd trained for solo operations, could adapt.
Vought's official statement, read from his tablet, claims you're a domestic terrorist in experimental military hardware. They're offering $5 million for information leading to your capture. The 7 are being positioned as protectors hunting a dangerous fugitive. Standard propaganda, Chief observed. Control the narrative. Yeah, well, their narrative's got laser eyes and corporate backing. Met Chief's visor. We need to pivot. You can't go toe-to-toe with Homelander again. You'll lose. We need leverage, information, something to hurt Vought where it matters. Kimiko signed rapidly. Frenchie translated. She says there are places, secret places, where Vought keeps the evidence they can't destroy. Compound V trials, failed experiments, children. Chief's hands clenched. In the Spartan 2 program, he and the other children had been conscripted, augmented, trained for humanity's survival. It was brutal, unethical, but necessary against the Covenant threat. Vought was creating superpowered beings for profit, for entertainment. Locations, Chief said. Butcher pulled up schematics. Sage Grove Center, psychiatric facility upstate. They test Compound V on adults, prisoners, mental patients, people nobody'll miss. Success rate's about 20%. The rest, he shrugged, mass graves. And there's the Red River Institute, where they dose children, orphans mostly, see which ones survive, which powers manifest. It's where Homelander came from, where they made him. The room went quiet. We hit both, Chief said finally. Extract evidence, free the test subjects, expose Vought's operation. That's suicide, Huey protested. Security, Supes, containment protocols. I've infiltrated Covenant carriers, destroyed Halo installations, stopped the Didact. This is a corporate facility with conventional security. His helmet turned to each of them. I've faced worse odds. He's right, Butcher said slowly. Vought thinks they're untouchable because they own the heroes. But Chief here, he's not playing by their rules, not playing hero at all. His grin turned vicious. He's playing soldier, and soldiers win wars. Frenchie sealed the final armor plate. The suit, she is functional, not perfect, but functional. Your shields, they recharge, yes? Chief checked his HUD. Systems green across the board, shields at 100%, weapons reloaded with what ammunition Frenchie had scrounged. Not UNSC standard, but compatible enough. We move in 6 hours, Chief said. Butcher and reconnaissance and extraction routes. Frenchie, disable security, get me building schematics. Kimiko, close protection for rescued subjects. Huey, document everything. And you? Butcher asked. Chief checked his BR-55. I'm going to show Vought what a real soldier looks like.
Sage Grove Center burned. Not from Chief's doing. From the test subjects Vought had created and couldn't control. When the Spartan breached the facility's containment at 0300 hours, he found not victims waiting for rescue, but monsters Compound V had twisted into weapons without sanity or restraint. He put them down, quick, efficient, merciful, each one a failure of Vought's ambition, each death another crime to document. The evidence room was worse. Video files of experiments, children screaming as Compound V burned through their veins, adults convulsing, flesh bubbling, dying in agony while scientists took notes, success stories labeled and shipped to the Seven's recruitment pipeline. Failures marked for disposal. Chief downloaded everything, every file, every scream, every corporate signature approving another round of human experimentation. Then Homelander arrived. The Supe crashed through the facility's roof, heat vision carming through reinforced concrete, rage incarnate. Found you! But Chief had planned for this, had positioned every variable. He wasn't in the facility anymore. He was 300 meters away, watching through a commandeered security drone as Homelander tore through empty corridors, searching. Looking for me? Chief's voice broadcast through the facility's PA system. Homelander spun, eyes blazing. Where are you, you coward?
documenting war crimes. Chief transmitted the files, not to news outlets, not yet, to every phone, every computer, every screen within 5 miles. Vought's dirty secrets spilling into the public sphere with surgical precision. This is what you protect, Homelander. This is what you serve. On the drone feed, Chief watched Homelander's face cycle through emotions, confusion, recognition, something that might have been shame before rage consumed it. "Lies!" Homelander screamed. "Vought propaganda! I'm a hero!" "You're a product," Chief said. "They made you, controlled you, aimed you like a weapon. But unlike me, you never learned to think for yourself." Homelander's heat vision vaporized the PA system, but the damage was done. The files were spreading, viral, unstoppable. At the Red River Institute, Butcher's team was extracting children, terrified, powered, traumatized, getting them to safe houses away from Vaught's reach. Kimiko carried them gently despite her own trauma, recognizing their pain. Chief monitored it all from his position, coordinating, adapting. This was what he'd trained for, not just combat, but operational success, objective completion. Vaught's stock plummeted as morning news picked up the leaked files, emergency board meetings, PR damage control. The Seven scrambled to address allegations. Homelander gave a tearful speech about not knowing, about being shocked, about promising reform. Chief watched it with the same tactical assessment he'd use on enemy propaganda. "We hurt them," MM said over comms, reviewing financial data. "Not killed, but hurt. Vaught's losing billions, congressional hearings scheduled, FBI investigation opened." "It's not enough," Chief replied. "Vought will survive. They always do." "Yeah," Butcher agreed, "but you've shown the world they bleed, that the heroes ain't so heroic. That's step 1, mate." Chief looked at the data streaming across his HUD. Mission parameters: protect humanity. Current status: ongoing. This world's threats weren't alien invasions or parasite infections. They were corporate corruption wearing capes, false heroes selling lies. But Chief had fought false prophets before. The Covenant had promised salvation through genocide. These heroes promised protection through control. Different enemy, same war. "What now?" Huey asked. Chief checked his weapons, reviewed target assessments, planned next operational phase. "Now we finish what we started."
The war against Vought had only begun, but Master Chief had already changed the equation. For the first time, someone with the skill and conviction to match the Seven's power stood against them, not seeking fame or profit, but fighting a war against corruption wearing humanity's face. In the weeks following Sage Grove's exposure, 3 Vought facilities shut down under federal investigation. 2 members of the Seven resigned amid scandal. Homelander's approval ratings dropped 20 points, his perfect image cracked beyond PR repair. The corporation bled money and credibility, while Chief operated from the shadows, a ghost in Mjolnir armor that turned Vaught's hunters into prey. Billy Butcher had found his perfect weapon, not another Supe, but a soldier who understood warfare without glory. The boys evolved from desperate vigilantes into a precision strike force with Chief's tactical genius guiding their operations. Huey learned that justice sometimes required violence. MM found purpose in protecting the powerless. Frenchie built weapons that could hurt gods. Kimiko discovered she wasn't the only one who'd been made into a weapon and chose to fight back. And in penthouse suites and boardrooms, Vought executives realized their carefully constructed empire faced something new, a true soldier who couldn't be bought, threatened, or killed. Chief didn't want fame, didn't need approval. He'd fought the Covenant across 1,000 worlds and won. Corporate superheroes were just another enemy, and Master Chief Petty Officer John 117 had never lost a war.
Homelander stood at Vought Tower's window, watching the city below, knowing somewhere in those streets a man in green armor was planning the next strike. For the first time since childhood containment, the world's most powerful Supe felt something unfamiliar crawling up his spine. Fear. And across the city, in a safe house that didn't exist on any map, Chief reviewed intelligence on the Seven's next target, planned countermeasures, and prepared for the battles ahead. His war had found a new front. His mission remained unchanged: protect humanity, even from the heroes. May the Force be with you. More stories await.